Hello, and welcome back to Graceful Healing. I'm so excited for you to be here. And today I'm going to talk about deep transformation and it's self-transformation. It's about our journey on how we transform our lives from our past experiences, from our wounds. And it has come to my awareness this week. This past week was my birthday and my anniversary. And this is where I was able to reflect and bring some awareness. And there was grievance also. So I'm just going to go into my story and really express on how we can take moments in our lives and look on the transformation we have created for ourselves and give ourselves gratitude and appreciation, but also honor and grieve those moments of what you didn't know in the past and it wasn't in your awareness. And that's okay. And that we can pivot and choose differently as we evolve in our journeys. I sat with spirit and I'm like, do I share this? Do I not? And I feel that I do need to share this. It's part of my journey, it's part of my reflection and my teachings. And I know how I learn is through storytelling and through other people's lived experiences. And my intention is to inspire you to give yourself love and to know that it's okay to not know what you didn't know and to give yourself space to grieve that and then bring back the appreciation of, oh my goodness, I have traveled and changed in so many ways. And for me, it's really about self worthiness and self love. And I thought I had that growing up because I was very independent. But as my birthday approached and my anniversary, so a little history on that. I was supposed to marry my husband on the day of my birthday back in 96. I met my husband prior. He was my boyfriend, but it really the day that we became a couple was on my birthday, my 17th birthday. And it was a big pivot moment in my life. So when we were deciding to get married, I'm like, why don't we just get married on my birthday, since that's when we really established our relationship. And it was a self pivotal moment for me because this was the first man, even though we were very young, that loved me and showed me what love was at that moment. Our love evolved as we did too, but the universe knows it wasn't supposed to be on my birthday. So in 96, on my birthday, it was a Sunday and we didn't want to get married on a Sunday. So we picked the 13th on a Saturday. Fast forward 29 years, 35 years together, or 34 years together, excuse me. We're almost at the 35 mark. I had a great birthday weekend. It was a 4-day weekend. On Sunday, people on the 13th, people were saying happy anniversary, as they always do. And then on Monday, the 14th, people were like, oh, it's your birthday too? Wow. And I think I have shared this story with close friends and people on my social media. And they do ask, like, why did you have a birthday? You set that up. And I shared, oh, the story I just shared with you was when I met my husband. But this year, as I finished celebrating my birthday and I was driving home alone, long drives for me is a beautiful way for me to reflect back and think about the day, the moments, inspiration, whatever emotion I'm going through. Sometimes ask myself and ask spirit different questions. I talk to them as I talk to you. And I was reflecting back that day. The sadness came over me of, wow, I didn't value my birthday, myself, to celebrate and pick a different date. Because I really wanted my anniversary to be on my birthday to celebrate. I'm like, it's just my birthday. And this overwhelming sadness came in, and I did cry because at that moment, I realized at the time of planning my wedding, I didn't value my birthday. I didn't see a worth in celebrating. And it's because of my lived experience to that moment. I think what I could remember, I only had two birthdays from the day of my birth to that moment. After that, I didn't want people to celebrate my birthday. I didn't want to celebrate my birthday, but that was a way of me protecting myself. I didn't want to be disappointed. I didn't think my birthday was important enough to celebrate. And I was just so sad about that. And I was just like, why? I knew why I felt that way, but it was other people's projections. It was different upbringings, all the stuff. And I chose to continue to hold on to that until I started bringing the healing in. And I remember after I had my kids and they were older, I would celebrate their birthdays. And when it came to my birthday, they're like, let's have a birthday party. I'm like, no, it's okay. We don't have to. For a long time until my kids, like, we want to celebrate you. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so I had to learn to celebrate. And this is like in my 30s. And I'm smiling now because I could look back and be like, oh my goodness, this was a big healing journey I had to go through. And so turning 51, I gave myself space to grieve that part of me that I know at the time, I'm just reflecting back. I know at the time I wanted to be celebrated. I just didn't know how to. I didn't, all I saw it was through the lens of shame, guilt, all the mistakes that I made. And I chose to focus on those things. And I didn't know how to change that. And this is where deep transformation and deep healing comes in. And we don't have to walk this path alone, but to also honor that journey of you didn't know. Some things were projected on you. Some were a belief that was conditioned in you. But as we grow and as we evolve, we get to choose what to heal. And it doesn't heal overnight. It took time for me to get to this point. I'm 51 years old and I've been on my healing journey, on my spiritual journey since 2017. It was earlier, is when like I could go back to 2011 is when, but I didn't know, but where I could recognize like it was an intention to change the way of thinking, of looking at myself, of looking at the world around me, and what I was carrying forward was in 2017. And fast forward to 2025, as my birthday came to a close, it never closes. I look at it and I'm like grieving, and it was sad. There was so much sadness that I had to allow the young Gracie, that 17-year-old Gracie, and I got married at 21, that, through the evolution of my marriage, I grieved that girl, that woman that didn't see herself. I allowed that day, my birthday on the 14th, to grieve that for a moment so she could heal. And that's a part of our healing and transformation, is going and allowing that part of us to feel the feels and not to get stuck with it, not to shame her, guilt her, or be sad for her. I was sad, but then I let this Gracie, who knows her worth, knows that she's fully loved, to be celebrated and to celebrate myself first and foremost. And so I gave that Gracie a hug and told her she's always was worth celebrating. She was always worth living a life full of celebration and love, that her birthday was to be celebrated. And so it took me, I'm recording this on the 19th of April, took me a whole week to almost a whole week to sit with this and to talk to my counsel and spirits, to thank them for helping me bring love and healing to that area of my life, and to also celebrate that deep transformation, to know that my healing is going to be in a journey in itself. There's going to be moments of celebration and moments of healing. In that moment, when I was driving home, I brought that healing through music, through remembrance, and through working with my spirit team. And then also having close family and friends to talk to and express that to. And so I'm here to remind you that when we go through deep transformation, there's going to be moments of grievance, but there's also moments of celebration. Your life is to be celebrated, and give yourself permission to grieve those moments that you didn't know and it wasn't in your awareness, but and that you don't walk this path alone, because there your ego mind will pop in. Because that moment, I remember that ego mind popping in, I said, oh, thank you for reminding me what I didn't know back then. And it's saying it out loud to activate that, and know that you have people around you that want to celebrate you and want to see you fully in yourself. And it's not what's the word I'm looking, it's not selfish to celebrate yourself. You are the one who's doing the work. You are the one who is showing up each and every day the best version of yourself, and giving yourself permission to evolve and grow and learn. You're going to make mistakes, you're going to make the wrong decisions at time, but this is the beautiful thing about choices and decisions and changes, is each and every day you get to show up and make those changes or those choices, and bring healing and love and aspiration into your life. So I allowed myself to evolve and grow, and this, oh, and then I looked at myself in this moment and I gave myself appreciation, like, Gracie, wow, you're doing the work. And I do the work for myself first, and then I bring it outwards and I share that, because I know we can, at moments, for me, at least me, I know I was going inwards and just holding on to these aspects. But it's like, now the awareness, I was just listening to a book and on Audible, and it's called The Voice of Knowledge. And it was like, oh my goodness, that he called the ego mind, the ego voice, knowledge, because it remembers the knowledge throughout the life that we picked up, and how sometimes that knowledge can be lies. And how we, it was just very timely. There's no coincidences why I started listening to this book, but that deep transformation of when we reflect back, and we might have been listening to the voice of knowledge or the voice of ego, as I talk about it. And sometimes it does lie to us because it's trying to keep us safe, and or it's different belief systems that it has picked up throughout of somebody else's reflection of how they see you. But it was a good awareness for me to understand and reflect back of how far I have come. And I know my journey continues on, and this will continue to evolve as I bring healing to that area of my life, and giving myself permission to continue that healing. And one of the things I'm hearing from spirit is, sometimes in society, we have been conditioned of instant gratification and instant healing. And that is a played out, what's the word I'm looking for? Theory. You know, there's some things that we can heal, but if we look at our wounds and we look at different aspects ourselves, even when we cut ourselves, it takes time to heal. And when we bring that knowledge in for ourselves, and especially on an emotional healing, or if a spiritual healing, or a traumatic healing, there's healings in different areas of our life. And our life is not about only healing, it's about celebration and collaboration and inspiration. There's cycles of everything, right? And sometimes those cycles entwine with each other. And it's such a beautiful journey when we look at it at that perspective. And I didn't know this. I held on to that wound healing, or that wound, and I kept living that cycle over and over again. And I didn't know how to celebrate myself. But as I look back and I teach and I sit with people, I express to them, like, this work is not an overnight process. It takes time, it takes patience, it takes endurance, it takes strength, but you don't do this alone. You do this with your spirit, with your divine creation, with your spirit team, with your close counsel here, whether it's your family, your friends, your mentors or teachers, with me or with somebody else. People, when you set the intention, the teacher will show up, your relationships will show up, and you don't walk this path alone. And that was another teachings that I embrace now, because I thought I had to do it alone, because I didn't want people to see that shadow aspect of myself. But the only way you bring light to that shadow is doing the work. And shadow's not always bad. We have to bring balance to both of them, because there's so much teaching in that shadow that we've gone through, that we've walked through. And it has been, for me, I'm feeling into this, because I know when I was starting my healing journey, the shadow aspect was, I thought it was like that shame, the guilt, and that we shouldn't show that to other people because they were going to judge us or criticize us or all this stuff. And they do, some people do, but they're not your people. They don't know what you walk through. And this is where you build your resilience and your authority, knowing that your past doesn't define you. It's something that you walk through, and it's your experience. It's nothing to one of the hardest things is when different people tell you to get over it. And it's not about getting over it. It's bringing light to a area of our lives that no longer serves us. Doesn't erase it. It doesn't make it like it didn't happen, but we can change. We could change the perspective of how it interacts in our lives, right? We don't have to be controlled by it. We don't have to allow it to repeat its cycle of whatever that emotion is attached to. That big reflection in my birthdays, oh my goodness. And then I'm so proud of how I didn't allow that to sideline me, because at moments it can, and it's okay when it does, but it's coming back to, okay, honoring that. How do I move forward with what I'm feeling? And so know that when you are in this deep transformation, allow that space and allow your spirit team to guide you through that. Sometimes we can't see clearly because we're still not understanding. And what we can do and steps that we can take are giving ourselves love and compassion, asking for support, whether it's through spirit or with people that we trust and are truly here for you and see you, that you can rely on. Know that you don't need to share everything. Know that you are supported. Know that you are loved, that you are worthy. And when we take these steps of releasing what no longer serves us, it can be scary. It can be like, oh my goodness. But know that it's changes our direction in life. We see ourselves clearly, and it empowers you. Holy moly. I walked through that. It wasn't easy. It wasn't okay. But thank you for helping me see and gain the wisdom and knowledge that changed my life. It really did change my life. I see myself differently. I will continue to change, because there is areas of my life that I still look, I'm like, oh, don't want to go there. But it's like in moments, I know it's going to unfold, and I learn how to celebrate myself. And those moments that, I still need help with, I close my eyes, I put my hand on my heart, and I set my intention with my spirit, with myself. And then I ask my angels, thank you for helping me see myself through your loving eyes in this situation. And thank you for helping me see the world around me through your loving eyes. And I open my eyes and I put in the work and I step into the practices, the rituals that I do to see myself. And when we see ourselves, others see us because we are that mirror, we are that reflection. And your life changes for yourself because you get to see yourself through the eyes of creator and creation, of your divine spirit team and your divine self that is always there and is waiting and is inspired for you to call them forward. And it takes time and it takes patience and takes practice. Not going to lie to you. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It takes devotion. And the beautiful thing about our faith and our devotion, when we go into devotion in our practices or rituals, that's us drawing in our faith to align ourselves to our divine creation, to God, to creator, to universe, whichever connects you back to that divinity, and it builds that faith and you feel expansive. And I always say I always ground myself to Mother Earth and open up myself to creator and creation to bring the blend because they are never separated. But I'm going to leave you with that, and know that when you are in your deep transformation healing, to give yourself space, allow your team to support you. Know that you don't walk this path alone, and celebrate yourself. Celebrate the transformation of where you have been to where you are and where you are going. And know that your world will continue to evolve and expand and experience. And know and give yourself time and space to grow. We're always evolving, we're always growing. And know that you are held by Mother Earth and Creator and creation. And you are the bridge that brings that light here. And yeah, and I thank you for sharing, allowing me to share my story of reflection of my transformation about self-worth and self-love and celebration, self-celebration. So remember, when it's your birthday, celebrate yourself, celebrate, treat yourself, because you are worthy of celebration. You walked around the sun another year, and you're going to continue to walk and grow and evolve, and celebrate that. So I celebrate you. I thank you. And I'm sending you so much love. I'll see you soon. Have a wonderful day.